The Galactic Council's main station floated in the heart of the universe, a massive structure where the most powerful leaders of different species gathered. On a normal day, it was a place of endless debates, trade agreements, and political games. But today was not a normal day. Alarms screamed across the station. Red lights flashed on every screen. High-ranking officials rushed into the command center, their faces pale with fear. Something had entered their space, a ship, unlike anything seen before. "Impossible," whispered High Commander Varric, his blue-scaled hands tightening into fists. His species, the Khazar, had ruled the galaxy for centuries. He had seen every kind of ship, warships, transport ships, even planet-sized stations. But this was different. The holographic display showed a single battleship moving through deep space. It was huge, even larger than the Council's most advanced warships. But what scared them most was not its size. It was its speed. "This ship moves faster than our fastest cruisers," an officer reported, his voice shaking. "And it's not using any known propulsion system." The Council members exchanged uneasy glances. A ship that size should not be able to move like that. And yet it did. "Who owns it?" demanded Chancellor Orith, a tall, insectoid being with 6 glowing eyes. "No known empire has claimed it," the officer replied. "It just appeared from deep space, as if it came from nowhere." A cold silence filled the room. Fear spreads. The news spread quickly. Across the galaxy, governments panicked. Military leaders prepared for war. No one wanted to admit it, but they all felt the same thing: fear. The ship was heading straight toward the central planets. It ignored border patrols. It ignored warning signals. It ignored everything. Some empires believed it was a new secret weapon from a rival faction. Others feared it was an ancient race returning to reclaim the galaxy. Rumors spread like wildfire, but no one had any answers. Finally, the Galactic Council had no choice. They called an emergency meeting. Every major leader in the galaxy attended. The air was tense as they watched the live feed of the mysterious ship growing larger with every passing second. "We need to act now," a reptilian general roared. "If we wait, we show weakness." "And what do you suggest?" Chancellor Orith snapped. "Attack a ship we know nothing about." "It's a single ship," another leader argued. "No matter how powerful it is, we outnumber it 1,000 to 1. The room erupted into arguments. Some wanted war. Some wanted peace. Some just wanted to run. Finally, High Commander Varric stood up. His voice cut through the noise like a blade. "We send a scouting fleet," he declared. "No attacks. Just observation. If this ship is a threat, we must understand it first." Reluctantly, the Council agreed. The scouting mission. A fleet of 20 warships was chosen for the mission. They were some of the best in the galaxy, armed with the most advanced weapons. They moved swiftly, approaching the mysterious battleship with caution. As they got closer, their scanners struggled to make sense of what they were seeing. "Energy readings are impossible," one officer muttered. "This ship's power output is beyond anything we've ever recorded." "Are there life signs?" a captain asked. Silence. The scanners could not detect anything. No crew. No signals. Nothing. The fleet moved closer, weapons armed, ready for any sudden movement. Then suddenly, a deep pulse of energy rippled through space. All ships came to a dead stop. Their systems froze. Engines failed. Weapons shut down. And then, a message echoed across all communication channels. "We are humanity. Do not interfere." The words were spoken in a calm, emotionless tone, but they carried a weight that shook every soul who heard them. Humanity. A name that had not been spoken in thousands of years. A name that most believed to be extinct. Panic spread across the fleet. The captains, trained for war, suddenly found themselves unable to move, unable to fight. They had no control. The battleship did not fire a single shot. It did not attack. It simply continued moving forward, ignoring them as if they were nothing. And that was the most terrifying thing of all. For the first time in history, the Galactic Council faced an enemy they could not understand, an enemy that did not fear them, an enemy that had returned from the dark. The question was no longer what the ship was. The question was, why had humanity returned? The Galactic Council had faced many threats before, rebellions, wars, even planet-destroying weapons. But this was different. A single unknown battleship had entered their space. It was massive, unstoppable, and moved faster than anything in the galaxy. And now, they knew who it belonged to. Humanity. The name alone sent shockwaves through the council chambers. Panic and confusion. Inside the council's command center, leaders from hundreds of species shouted over one another. Some demanded immediate war. Others wanted to negotiate. Some just wanted to run. "This is impossible," a reptilian senator hissed. Humans were wiped out long ago. Their planets were destroyed. Their fleets were lost. An insectoid diplomat added, "They can't be back." "But they are back," High Commander Varric said, his voice cold. He had fought many wars, but even he had never felt fear like this. And they gave us a warning. Do not interfere. The room fell silent. What did it mean? Was this a declaration of war? A warning? Or something worse? Chancellor Orith finally spoke. "We must act, but we must be careful. If we attack blindly, we may start a war we cannot win." For the first time in thousands of years, the Galactic Council had to admit something terrifying. They were not the strongest power in the galaxy anymore. Preparing for the worst, the Council quickly sent a message to all major fleets across the galaxy. Every empire was ordered to prepare for battle. Planetary defenses were activated. Warships were put on high alert. But deep down, no one knew what they were preparing for. Was this a war? A test? Or was humanity simply passing through? Admiral Torque of the Silari Empire, one of the most powerful military leaders in the galaxy, stared at the hologram of the battleship. His fleet had conquered entire star systems, but now, for the first time, he hesitated. If they wanted to attack, he muttered to himself, they would have done it already. And that was what scared him the most. Humanity was watching, studying, waiting. A desperate attempt. The Council knew they could not sit and do nothing. They had to make contact. A team of diplomats was chosen. They would be sent to speak with the humans, if the humans were even willing to listen. A single diplomatic cruiser left the Galactic Council station, flying carefully toward the impossible battleship. As they approached, their ship's systems flickered, lights dimmed, power fluctuated. It was as if the battleship was reading them. Then, without warning, a message came through. You were warned. Do not interfere. And then, for the first time, the battleship stopped moving. The entire galaxy held its breath. What was coming next? Peace or destruction? The entire galaxy watched in silence. The massive battleship had stopped moving, floating in deep space like a silent predator. No one knew what it would do next. Would it attack? Would it speak? Would it vanish as mysteriously as it had arrived? For the first time in thousands of years, the Galactic Council felt powerless. The failed negotiation. The diplomatic cruiser drifted closer, sending transmission after transmission. Greetings, humans. We represent the Galactic Council. We seek peaceful. The signal was cut. The human battleship had simply shut off all communications. Panic spread through the Council's command center. They're ignoring us, one diplomat gasped. Or they do not consider us worthy of a response, High Commander Varric muttered. Chancellor Orith clenched his claws. Send another message. We must show we are not enemies. But before they could, the human battleship moved. Not forward, not backward. It simply vanished. One moment, it was there. The next, it was gone. No warp signature, no energy surge, nothing. As if it had never existed. Shock and fear spread. The council chambers erupted in chaos. Did they cloak? Did they jump to another system? Where did they go? Admiral Torque stared at his screen, his claws tightening into a fist. This is impossible. The Galactic Council had the most advanced technology in the universe. No ship could move without being tracked. And yet, humanity's battleship had disappeared like a ghost. No one knew where it had gone. No one knew what it would do next. And that was the greatest fear of all. The truth is revealed. Then, another alert flashed across the command center. The battleship had reappeared inside the defensive perimeter of a heavily guarded planet. One of the Council's fortress worlds. How? No ship could bypass those defenses. It was impossible. But it had happened. Within seconds, alarms blared. Defense cannons activated. Warships moved into formation. The humans were inside their most secure space, and no one knew how they had done it. Then, the battleship spoke again. A single message broadcasted to the entire galaxy. You were warned. The first attack. The Council had no choice. They fired first. Hundreds of plasma cannons, missile launchers, and laser turrets locked onto the battleship and unleashed destruction. Explosions filled the sky. The battleship was engulfed in fire. The force of the attack could have wiped out an entire fleet. For a brief moment, the galaxy felt hope. And then, the flames vanished. The battleship remained untouched. No damage, no marks, nothing. As if the Council had fired at a god. Inside the command center, silence fell. A deep, terrible silence. Then, another message came. This time, it was only 2 words. Now, watch. And then the real nightmare began. The entire galaxy held its breath. The Council's strongest defenses had fired everything they had. Yet the human battleship remained untouched. Not a single scratch. The reality was terrifying. Humanity had technology beyond anything known. And now, they had warned. Now, watch. The Council leaders trembled. The battleship strikes. Without warning, the human battleship moved. Not fast, not aggressively, just a single step forward. Yet, every ship, every soldier, and every leader watching felt pure fear. Admiral Torque clenched his claws. They could have destroyed us already. Why are they waiting? Because, Chancellor Orith whispered, his voice hollow, they want us to understand. The battleship activated its weapons. But it didn't fire at the fleet. Instead, one single shot struck a defense platform orbiting the fortress world. The explosion was instant. A massive energy surge ripped through space, shattering the platform like it was made of glass. No ship, no technology in the galaxy had ever done something like this. It was not just destruction. It was erasure. Gone. No debris. No wreckage. Just emptiness. The Council's desperation. Panic spread. Pull back. We cannot win. But we cannot run. If we surrender, what will they do to us? For the first time in history, the Galactic Council had no answers. They were helpless. Then, another warning came from the human battleship. This is a demonstration. The next shot will not miss. Silence. Every leader, every commander, every empire faced the same truth. They had no power over humanity. Not anymore. A choice must be made. The Council had one final decision. Would they fight a hopeless war? Or would they bend the knee to a force they could not comprehend? Chancellor Orith's voice trembled. Open all channels. We must speak with them. Admiral Torque hesitated. And if they do not listen? Orith closed his eyes. Then, we pray they are merciful. The message was sent. The entire galaxy waited for humanity's answer. And in the next moment, the response came. A single word. Kneel. The message echoed across the Galactic Council's command chambers. Kneel. A single word. A command. The council leaders sat frozen. No empire had ever been forced to surrender before. The mighty Galactic Council, rulers of thousands of star systems, were being given an ultimatum. Kneel or be erased. Chancellor Orith's throat went dry. His voice cracked. If we refuse. The answer came instantly. Then you will cease to exist. A chill ran through the room. Fear takes over. Admiral Torque clenched his claws. His entire fleet had been helpless. Every weapon had failed. And now, the enemy wasn't even negotiating. They were giving orders. This is madness. One of the council members shouted. We are the rulers of the galaxy. We do not surrender. Orith turned to him, his eyes dark with fear. Then tell me, how do we fight them? The leader fell silent. There was no answer. No strategy. No defense. No hope. They had already lost. A display of absolute power. The human battleship moved forward. It did not fire. It did not demand again. It simply activated something. Every fleet, every station, every planet across the Council's territory saw it. A star, one of their most important, powering an entire system, collapsed into darkness. No explosion, no warning. Just gone. The system was dead. Millions of lives, erased in an instant. No empire had ever wielded such power. It was not war. It was domination. The moment of surrender, the council chamber was silent. There was only one path forward. Chancellor Orith took a deep breath. His hand shook as he reached for the communication panel. With a single press, his image appeared before the human battleship. He lowered his head. Then, one by one, every council leader followed. Across the galaxy, rulers of mighty empires knelt before the unstoppable force. The moment would be remembered forever. The day the Galactic Council, once rulers of the stars, bowed to humanity. The galaxy had fallen silent. The rulers of 1,000 empires had knelt before the unstoppable force that was humanity. The moment had been broadcast across every system, every world, every fleet. For the first time in history, the Galactic Council was powerless. But what came next? Would humanity conquer the galaxy? Would they erase their enemies? Or was there another reason they had come? The message of humanity. A new transmission echoed across the stars. This is not an invasion. The council leaders looked up in shock. We do not seek to rule your empires. We do not wish for war. We do not demand resources. We demand order. The chamber erupted in confusion. Chancellor Orith leaned forward. What do they mean? Humanity's voice continued. For too long, your wars have threatened the stability of the galaxy. You enslave the weak. You erase species you deem unworthy. You fight for control, not survival. The words burned like fire. Empires that had thrived on war, on destruction, on power, were now being called out like children who had mispaved. And worst of all, they knew it was true. A display of authority. A new image appeared on every galactic screen. A war-torn planet deep in council space. It had been at war for centuries. Two species fighting for dominance. The human battleship moved. In a blink, both warring fleets vanished. No wreckage, no explosions, just gone. The world below, once drowning in conflict, was now silent. Humanity's voice returned. No more pointless wars. No more destruction. From this day, the galaxy will follow new laws. Our laws. The council leaders exchanged glances. It wasn't just conquest. It was control. A new galactic order. And humanity was now in charge. The choice. The message ended. The galaxy was left with one choice. Follow the new rules, or be erased. Chancellor Orith felt a chill in his spine. The council had ruled with fear and strength for centuries. Now, they were the ones who were afraid. The galaxy was no longer the same. Fear had turned into acceptance. Rebellion had turned into silence, and the new rulers of the universe had emerged. Humans. The Galactic Council, once the supreme authority, now acted as advisors under Earth's watchful eye. Empires that once thrived on war had been forced into peace. No species could defy the new order, because if they did, they would vanish. A new dawn. On the capital world of the Council, billions gathered to witness history. The largest assembly in the galaxy stood in silence as a single human stepped forward. Admiral Kane, the man who had commanded Earth's battleship, the man who had ended the war-driven chaos of the universe. His voice was calm but absolute. This is not a rule of oppression. This is not a reign of terror. This is balance. The crowd listened. The entire galaxy listened. For too long, the strong crushed the weak. The greedy ruled without consequence. That time is over. He raised a single hand. Behind him, a hologram of the galaxy appeared, marked with red zones. War zones. Slave empires. Corrupt dominions. "We will fix this," Kane continued. "You will adapt, or you will cease to exist." No one dared to challenge him, because everyone had already seen what humanity was capable of. The unseen power of Earth. Whispers had already spread. The battleship that had entered the galaxy was just one. One ship, and yet it had crushed fleets, ended wars, and forced an entire galaxy into submission. If one ship could do that, how many more were waiting? How many battleships did Earth truly have? No one knew, and that terrified them more than anything else. The final warning. As Admiral Kane stepped back, a final message was broadcast across the stars. Humanity does not seek to rule, but we will never allow chaos to return. Do not test us. Then the transmission ended. The battleship, the first of its kind to ever enter the galaxy, turned away from the Council's world. It vanished into the void, but its shadow remained. The age of unchecked warlords, tyrants, and corrupt rulers was over. The age of humanity had begun. The galaxy had not been the same since the arrival of Earth's battleship. Empires that once ruled with confidence now lived in silent fear. Treaties were rewritten. Borders were redrawn. Humanity did not conquer with force. They had done something far worse. They had become the unchallenged rulers of the galaxy simply by existing. But not everyone accepted this new reality. In the depths of an asteroid belt, far from prying eyes, a secret meeting took place. A dimly lit chamber echoed with whispers. Representatives from multiple alien species gathered around a circular table. The Techran commander, once a proud warrior, clenched his mandibles. This cannot continue. If humanity remains unchallenged, we will soon become nothing more than servants. The Vorn ambassador, a being of liquid metal, shimmered with unease. Their technology is beyond anything we understand. We attack, and we are wiped out. A deep mechanical voice rumbled through the room. Then we do not attack them directly. The speaker was Grand Strategist Lorth, a cybernetic hybrid from the fallen Uldran Empire. Humans do not conquer. They manipulate. We must do the same. The room fell silent. Lorth continued, his glowing red eyes scanning the gathered leaders. If we cannot defeat humanity with strength, we must turn their allies against them. A holographic map of the galaxy appeared on the table. Lorth pointed to several planets where humans had made alliances. The Zerathi clans, the Torjan Dominion, even the minor factions. These species have sided with Earth, but their loyalty is fragile. The Techran commander leaned forward. "You mean, make them distrust the humans?" Lorth's mechanical face twisted into a cruel smile. "No, we make them fear the humans." The plan was set. The shadow conspiracy had begun.